Hello friends, today I'm going to teach you how we can use Selenium with Python. Let's go to the agenda slide first. I'll give you a Selenium introduction. I'll tell you the different Selenium components. Uh, I'll give you overview regarding the Selenium WebDriver architecture. We'll see how we can set up the Selenium and we'll try to write and explain the demo scripts for Selenium with Python. All right. Okay. So first of all, what is Selenium? So Selenium is a browser-based web application testing tool. It is only used for functional testing, or you can say web testing. And what do I mean by web testing? Web testing means anything that is that works on a web browser. So that is called web, and anything which can be opened on a browser that can be tested using Selenium. That is called web testing. If you talk about other type of applications, like we have mobile apps, we have desktop applications. Like we have some chatting applications that are installed on our laptop or system, like Messenger or Yahoo, Skype. They are desktop applications, although they are using internet, but they are desktop applications and they are not web applications. So those applications cannot be tested using Selenium. Selenium can only test those applications which can be opened on web browser, right? So there are some other tools available in the market which can be used for testing different types of applications. Like if I want to automate a mobile application, then I can use APM, which is written on the top of Selenium's API. It is very much, I mean, its commands are very much similar to Selenium, but it can be used for mobile automation, right? Similarly, for desktop applications, there are another tools which are available in the market. So Selenium is open source. It has open source license, which means it is freeware. It is available on the internet. Anyone can download it, install it, and can use this tool. You do not have to pay to use this. It is extensible framework, means it has extensive support. It has extensive features which we can use to automate our web application, and it supports a large number of programming languages. So you can choose any of the language of your choice. It supports Java, C Sharp, Python, Ruby, HTML, and PHP. So you can pick any of the language out of these and write the Selenium code. Supports native browser testing. Like I mentioned you, it only supports web browser testing. It cannot test the other types of applications, right? So these are some of the advantages of Selenium. Let's move forward to Selenium components. So Selenium has different components, or you can also say Selenium has different versions. The first one is the Selenium IDE. Selenium IDE is a record and play kind of tool. In Selenium IDE, you do not have to write the code. You can simply click on the recording button, then perform some actions on the web application or website, and then click on stop, and it would generate a HTML script for your actions that you have performed. And you can save that HTML script and you can run that script anytime whenever you want to. But it can only be used for very, simple kind of testing. You cannot do complex testing along with Selenium IDE because it does not supports the if else conditioning and the looping. So these two are uh, they are one of the most important features of any programming language. And when you try to automate or when you try to test any complex feature on a website or a web application, then obviously you would need if else conditioning, you would need loops. So this feature is missing from Selenium ID. So that's why it's not very popular. So second version of Selenium is Selenium RC, that is called Selenium Remote Control. It is also called as Selenium 1. Uh, so the disadvantages that were in the Selenium ID, like I mentioned, missing of the if-else conditioning and the looping, that was resolved in Selenium RC. So in Selenium RC, you can pick any of the language and you can write your code. But there were some flaws in Selenium RC, and then comes a newer version of Selenium, which is Selenium 2, and right now, which is very popular, Selenium WebDriver. So the current version of Selenium WebDriver that is available in market is Selenium 4, right? And Selenium WebDriver is a tool where we can pick any of the language, Java, C Sharp, Python, PHP, Ruby, and write our code. So today we will be learning the Selenium WebDriver along with the Python. Selenium Grid is a different component of Selenium. So it has different functionality. It is not an automation testing tool, whether it is a node and what we can say server and client like application where you can create one of the system as Selenium server and you can register other systems as Selenium node with the Selenium server, right? And you can execute your test and you can execute and you can monitor your test executions on the Selenium nodes from your Selenium server. So let's say you want to execute your test on a Windows machine, on a Linux machine, and on a Mac machine. So what you can do is you can set up these three machines as Selenium nodes, and you can register these three machines onto one another system, which would be Selenium server, and you can start your execution from the Selenium server onto these machines, and you can also control the execution. You can monitor the results, and so this sort of feature Selenium Grid brings in, right? Okay, now comes the Selenium WebDriver architecture. So you can see here, like you would write a Selenium script in any of the language of your choice. Let's say we have written this script in Python. Then when you execute that script, it sends some of the instructions using the Selenium server to the web browser, to any of the browser. I mean, Selenium supports almost every browser, like it supports Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Opera. So Selenium server translates our code and sends the instructions to the web browser. It basically interacts with the web browser. Whatever action you want to perform using your code, Selenium server sends that instruction to the browser, and browser in return execute that instruction and sends back the response to the Selenium server that whether that command or that instruction has been executed successfully or not. So this is how Selenium uh, works. Now comes the setup part. So you can download and install Python from this URL. I will provide all these URLs in the uh, description of the video. So you can download the latest Python from this URL, right? And install it. So this is the official Python website. You can download and install it. Then you have to install the PyCharm, which is a IDE for writing the Selenium and Python code. This is also a freeware. It can be uh, downloaded from this URL. Let me show you. Yeah. So when you open this URL, JetBrains, they are the developers of this IDE PyCharm. You have to download the community version, not the professional one. Professional version is a paid one, so you can simply download community version and install it, right? So after installing Python and after setting up the PyCharm, now it's the time to install Selenium. So you can install Selenium using this command pip3 install -u Selenium. So what you have to do is open any com uh, open command prompt, and first of all check whether Python is installed or not. Yeah, so my Python is installed here, right? Now I want to install Selenium. So I'll write this command pip3 install -u Selenium. So what this command does, if Selenium is already installed on your system, it will upgrade the Selenium version to the latest one. And if Selenium is not installed, it will install the latest version of the Selenium. Click enter. All right, so Selenium was already there on my system, so no action done. But if you are installing Selenium for the first time, then it will give you a message that Selenium is installed at the end, right? And if you want to check the Selenium version, what you have to do is type Python and click enter. Let me. So I want to check whether Selenium is installed or not and the version of Selenium. So I'll write Python, click enter. I'll Now I'm inside the Python console. Now I'll do import Selenium. I'll write import Selenium, and now I will write, after writing import Selenium, click enter and then write Selenium dot version like this, right? And click enter. Now it has given you the version installed, which is 4.1.0. So Selenium is installed on my system. That is verified. All right. Now the next step is you would need the Chrome and Gecko drivers for executing your Selenium code. So basically these drivers are required for Selenium to interact with the browsers. If you want to run your code on the Chrome driver, you would need to download the Chrome driver, and if you want to execute your code on Firefox, in that case you have to download the Gecko driver. from this URL. So these URLs you can find from here on this Selenium page, right? From where you can copy this command pip install Selenium. This is the pypy.org page. The same command you can see here. Here are the URLs for the Chrome drivers. This is for Chrome, this is for Edge, this is for Firefox and Safari. This is for Gecko driver. You can download the Windows version from here. If you want to execute for Chrome driver, then you can download it. So one thing you need to check is what is your Chrome version. You can check the Chrome version from here. So my Chrome version is 96, right? So I would need the Chrome driver that is supported 96 version of Chrome. So I will pick this one. I will download this Chrome driver because so the version of the Chrome driver and your Chrome should be same. Otherwise, the Selenium will not be launched. So let's extract this, and what you will see, Chrome driver, right? Okay. So we have installed Python, installed PyCharm. We have also installed the Selenium, and also we have downloaded the Chrome driver. So this is my PyCharm. You can launch it, and you can create a Python project here. New project. Give the name of your project. Create. So this will create a project like this. I have created two directories inside it, one source directory and one test directory. And inside that test directory, I have placed my Chrome driver.exe, and there are some other test cases. These are some of the Selenium scripts, right? So okay, demo script. So this is a very simple demo script. First of all, let me just take you through the project tour. So you can see the settings of this project by clicking on this project, go to files and click on the settings, and then click on this Python interpreter. From here you can see all the Python modules that are installed. So you can see Selenium is already installed here, so there is no problem in that, right? You can create a Python file like this, right click and new Python file. My first test. So I have created one Python file here, and I'm going to write the first script. First of all, you have to import the Selenium WebDriver. So the import statement is from Selenium import WebDriver. This is the first statement of your script. Now, what I will do, I will create an object of the WebDriver. Driver is equals to WebDriver dot. So when you put dot along WebDriver, it will give you different options which you can select. So it gives you different browsers that the WebDriver supports. You can see Chrome, Firefox, Edge, right? So you can select any of the browser on which you want to execute your test. I am picking the Chrome, and here you have to give the path of the Chrome driver. So my Chrome driver is placed just besides my script. So I can simply give the name of the my Chrome driver.exe. You can also give the full path, like the location at which your Chrome driver is placed on your system, like this one. Uh, this C users and all that, right? Now my driver object is initialized with Chrome browser. What I will do is I will now use the first command, which is the get command, driver.get, which is used for opening the URL of the website. And I will be giving driver.get, I will be giving any URL. So let's say I will give this URL python.org.downloads. Okay, so my first script is ready. When I will execute the script, it will launch the Chrome browser and then open this URL on that browser. Okay, let's execute it. Right click on the script and then run my first test. Let's see. Yeah, so the browser has been launched and see this URL has been opened up on this script. Oh, sorry, on this browser. Yeah, it is as simple as that. Okay, now we can switch to some other script, the second script. Now we will perform some actions on some of the browsers. So I have already created this script for you. So what I am doing here is I am importing the WebDriver, I am importing the by class and importing the keys. These are some of the command classes of the WebDriver which I required in this script. So first of all, what I have did, I have created one object of the WebDriver. You can name this object as anything. Like in my first script, I have named it as driver, and in my second script, I have named it as browser. So, right, browser is equals to webdriver.chrome, and then I have given the path of the Chrome driver.exe because it is lying just in the same folder where my tests are lying. So that's why I have given this path. Then I'm using the browser.get command and I am opening this URL pypy.org project Selenium, right? I'm opening this URL and then what I'm doing, I am finding the element with ID search. How I am doing that? So let me tell you what I am doing here is. Now what I want to do, I have already written, I have write the code till the opening of this URL. Now I want to write Selenium in this search box and click enter. For that, what I have to do is I have to find the ID of this search box. And how can I do that? right click on this search box and click on inspect. The console will open up, and here in the highlighted code you can see the ID of this search box is search, right? So I will make use of this ID. So this is basically called the Selenium locator. If you do not have any idea of Selenium locators, I will provide the link that I specific link of a video which I specifically made on the Selenium locators. You can go through that video, right? So you can by going through that you can have a better idea, right? What are Selenium locators and how we can use that. So here the ID is search. This is what I have used in my code. Browser.findElement by.id, value of the ID which is search, and then I'm using the command dot send keys. Send keys command is used for entering text into any text box. So send keys, and in send keys what I am doing, I am writing the text which I want to write in this search box, which is Selenium, and plus keys, this keys command dot return. So keys is a class in Selenium where it has different functions. If you will press control space with keys dot, you can see a lot of options here, right? So all the keys which are present on the keyboard will be present here. You can pick any of one. I have picked keys dot return, which would mean after writing the Selenium will click enter, right? So my code is completed. Now I will execute this code and see what it does. Run PyPy Selenium test. It has opened up, and it you can see the execution was so fast. It wrote Selenium and click enter, and now it is showing all the results which are present for Selenium on the pypy.org page. So my script has been executed successfully. So guys, till now we have uh, written the Python code not using the class, right? Like my this script, you can see we have not declared any class here, and also in the PyPy Selenium test we have not declared any class, right? So now I'm going to convert this code. I will rewrite this code using the Python class and set up and tear down methods. So I will be using Unittest. I will explain what is Unittest and what is the use case of Unittest. First, let me create a class. So I am declaring one class. You can name the class anything like my test class. So I have given the name to the class my test class, right? And I will be using Unittest. So Unittest is nothing but a unit testing framework in Python. You have to import it, import Unittest. So when you have installed Java, it will be installed by default. Oh, sorry, when you install Python, it will be by default installed alongside it. So now I have imported it, and now I have to inherit Unittest dot test case. So what I have done here is my test class is inheriting Unittest dot test case class, which means my test class is child of Unittest dot test case class. So by doing that, I will be using the functionalities of the unit test. So what functionalities it provide, I will let you know. So by using unit test, I can create setup and tear down methods. Can use a simple text def setup. So I have created a method named setup, and self is a keyword which is actually used when you declare a method inside a class. So in that setup method, what I will do, I will put this code, the driver, WebDriver object code inside this setup method. But if I want to use this driver in my other methods in the same class, then I have to use self alongside it. Self.driver. Self means self made it a class variable, which means this variable now can be used within any method which is lying inside this class. If I won't use self, then this variable would be a local variable and it can only be used inside this setup method only. It cannot be used outside this setup method, right? So we have declared the driver as self, and now I will create one other method which is tear down method. Sorry, not tear down class. I will create tear down. Yeah. Again, the parameter is self means this is a class method, and in this now you would see that I am able to access the driver object inside this teardown method because we have declared it as self.driver.quit. So this command, this quit command is used to close all the browser instances which are opened by the Selenium. So setup method will be executed at the beginning. What it will do, it will open the uh, Chrome browser and then open this URL inside it. Let's use some more commands. Self.driver.maximize window. So this command maximize window will maximize the browser, right? This will maximize the browser. Now what I will do, I will create one test method. So test method should be started with the prefix test, and then you can give any name to your test method. My first test. And inside this method, you can write your test case code, right? So now what we are going to do is we are going to automate one dummy registration form. Let's open techlistic.com, go to demo websites, and here you can find 10 best demo websites for Selenium automation testing practice. So I will open the first one, Techlistic automation practice form. Yeah, this one. So you can see this is a practice form. There are some text boxes, radio buttons, date picker, check boxes, select box, multi-select box, upload image, simple button, download link. So you can automate this form, this practice form using Selenium. So when you will be automating this practice form, you would you would come across all the Selenium commands. So it will give you a good practice. So I have already automated this form here, right? I have the setup method where what I am doing, I'm actually creating object of the service class. So it is nothing, you can either use it or you can use the same way like we have declared here. And we have passed the path of the driver to the service, and which is actually we are passing to WebDriver.chrome. Then we are maximizing the window driver.get. We are opening the URL. This is a variable we have declared here, navigate URL, right? In the teardown, we have used self.driver.quit. So for the first name, we have used first name is equals to self.driver.find element by.id first name. So this is a similar form, demoqa.com automation practice form, which is similar to this one. So we have to inspect the elements of this form. You can see the name is present, first name. You can use the name attribute here. This is what we have used, driver.find element by.id. All right, we will open the demo QA form because this code is written for this automation form, right? You can inspect the elements. ID. The ID is given first name. We have used by.id first name. Similarly, we are using the send keys. We are writing the name as Jassi. Last name send keys Moria. We are using by.id last name. You would see last name. Yes, the ID is last name. So in the similar way, we are automating the email ID by using the ID. We are giving the ID here. Then we are using the XPath for uh, selecting the gender. So for selecting gender, we are yeah this one, this radio button ID gender radio 2. So we have used XPath contains text female, and we are clicking on it. Then we are automating the mobile number field. We are giving some random value inside it. Then we are writing the date of birth, right? You can give any date. And then we are writing the subject uh, here. Subjects, we are checking the hobbies, right? The current address. All right. So our this is our setup method, this is our teardown method, and this is our test method. So how they will be executed? First of all, the setup method will be executed. It will start the execution. It will open a browser, Chrome, and then maximize it and open the URL which we have provided here. Then the execution would come to test case. Not, it will not go to the teardown. It will come to test case and it will execute all the code written in the test case. And once this code is executed, then in the last teardown method will be executed. And what it will do, it will close the browser because our test case execution is completed and we want to quit the browser. So let's execute this test case and then we will see how it will be executed. Run as unit test. Now this, because this class is a unit test class, so this code will not be executed as a Python code. This will be executed as a unit test. Right click on it and run unit test. Okay, it has opened the browser and it is entering all the data. You can see that. One test case has executed and it has passed, right? And you saw that the browser was closed itself by the Selenium, by this command driver.quit. So this way we can write our automation code using the classes and methods and using the unit test framework. I hope the things are clear to you. If you would have any questions, please write those questions or queries or doubts in the comment section. I will reach out to you and I'm going to provide all the links that I have used in this video in the description box. All right. Thank you very much.